What are some free/low-cost resources college students should know about? Open source textbooks. They are become more popular and hopefully will only keep getting better and better. Has a ton of books. Spotify Premium. Hello. And Showtime for 5/month total with a student email address. Works for grad school students too. Not helpful with productivity, but very helpful for sanity. They won't verify my student status. Very frustrating. Paul's online math notes for calculus. It's filled with examples and decent, down-to-earth explanations that don't confuse the out to you. Agreed. As a mathematics student I used these a lot in my first years as a student. Differential equations were a joy with this. Only a math student would call calculus especially a joy. Of course. If you ever had to do topology exercises you remember how fun ODE and basic PDEs were. I'd almost say that dynamical systems was my first love. Cheap meals that are healthier and tastier than ramen and Kraft dinner. I second budget bites. When my dad was transitioning jobs, and we'd run out of paychecks from his last job, but the new jobs hadn't kicked in, yet we used BB a lot. Food is good and cheap, and the price estimate is broken down by ingredient, so you know what you're getting into. I've made the burrito bowls goodness knows how many times. It is a user-friendly search engine and a lot of fun. And Desmos for graphing. Pay attention to events calendars. Most college events have free food. This may be different for this semester, but don't underestimate it down the road. My college used to do free food, but now they are giving free food vouchers because of Corona. Schools are making it work. This is actually a really good solution if the school gets food vouchers from nearby restaurants. Helps support local businesses with an upfront big order, makes the college look good, keeps the kids happy and coming to meetings. My roommates and I used to get so much free food we'd skip meal times we were so full lol. Student email gives freeps. Lol I popped in here just to mention Autocad and the Autodesk suite. It's over 100/month, but free for students with a school email address. Top tip. Don't be tempted to use this in a professional setting. The printouts are marked with student copy, and if a single detail from a student copy gets into the system, any drawing, no matter if it was made with a fully licensed copy, will be infected with that plot stamp. It's like AutoCAD herpes. We caught a dose from a vendor on one project I was on, and it took a ton of work to clean everything. Use the library for everything you can. Textbooks, movies, games, music, printing, quiet study space, tutoring, etc. Librarians love to help, and you might be surprised what they can lend out to you. I borrowed a telescope last week. Librarian here. We do love to help. Many libraries have hotspots, so you can save data if you aren't on an unlimited plan. We use a program that searches other libraries for books, and then we can request to borrow it. It is a great resource, so just because your library doesn't have it doesn't mean they can't get it for you. We do have random things to check out like you said. Some around us check out fishing poles and life jackets. Guess that's why a library is my favorite place. Not only you can obtain books and resources, but also they are one of the few endangered places left in our society where you're allowed to exist without expectation of spending money, as long as you're not overdue. Me with my 2-year-old borrowed psychology book and unsure if I'll ever be able to step into my library again. Once returned a book after more than a year. Turns out they accidentally marked it as returned and had not noticed. They were pretty happy and were acting like they just saw a unicorn walk in. Someone recently returned a book to my uni library 60 years late. Same uni also had the record for the longest book return, 288 years. Fortunately the fees were waived. Google Scholar. Great free Google search engine that gives credible articles to use in research papers and show you how to properly cite them. I exclusively use this in the Master of Science I'm currently undertaking. You can log into your university's network library credentials to get access to most of the documents/papers. Referencing wise it's incredible as it gives you multiple styles e.g. APA/Harvard etc. You can also view related papers which I've found incredibly helpful. Sahab as well, especially for those papers usually locked behind paywalls that GS can't access. Haven't used it for actually reading/researching papers for class, but have used it to read papers on my own free time, including some my own professors wrote. And LibGen. You can find a ton of textbooks there too. While not technically free, you probably pay a bunch of student fees for access to the gym, pool, free/reduced cost public transportation, etc. Understand what things your student fees cover and take advantage of them. Along with this, sometimes off-campus places, restaurants, museums, sporting events, etc. will give student discounts, so always ask and keep your student ID on you just in case. As a 37-year-old college student, I use my discount for so much. Spotify Hulu for $4.99 a month. NFL Sunday ticket for $25 a month. Also, many professional organizations have student rates and are great networking tools. I'm taking a certification review class for $50 when it is normally $500. You also get discounts to most, if not all, industry conferences. Go to the awards office at your school and talk to someone and find out if you qualify for anything. You'd be surprised how many bursaries and similar go unclaimed each year. As a student, every little bit helps, and you never know what you'll qualify for until you go and ask. Some are based on grades, sure, but many are based on need or your background or circumstances, and the occasional one is just first person to sign up with a pulse. Seriously, it's worth the hour it takes for you to go visit in person and talk to a real person who can guide you through. Or maybe you can do all that online now, but take the time. It could be free money to you and free you up to concentrate on your studies. This is so true. My friend works at a major American university, and she said many scholarships and grants aren't even given out because people don't apply. I applied for a few small random ones as a sophomore and got one. 500 in multiple small scholarships. I think an overwhelming issue with these claims though about small scholarships being left unapplied for is because most of them are so specific, basically no one qualifies. My university sends an email every year saying the same thing, and every year I go to look at the scholarships and they are so specific it's nuts. Things like fake, but based on a real one. I saw the Tinnelingham Grant, which is a 500 scholarship, but you must be a junior in the School of Life Sciences getting a degree in microbiology, have a 3.5 minimum GPA, come from a needs-based family, and be a first-generation college student. I mean, that can benefit someone. But surely a huge issue here is that the amount of people who qualify for something like that is so absurdly low you're gonna struggle to find those 1-2 kids who can apply. As an experiment, I just went through the first page of scholarships on my school's scholarship search. I don't qualify for any of them because I'm not a first-generation Hispanic nursing student, a child of a victim of the 9/11 terrorist attack, a military person who's wanting to transition to a teaching degree, BTW. Holy cow, 5,000 there. I'm sure loads are applying for that, or etc. Again, I'm 100% certain some people qualify for these. The issue is just that a lot of kids don't qualify for most or any of these. Edit. A lot of the replies to this are pointing out that they got a scholarship they didn't qualify for by just applying anyways. While that may be true, I think that just points out another fundamental flaw in this system if you are weeding out everyone except people willing to mass apply to anything no matter what. Never buy/rent your textbooks from the college bookstore unless you can't find them anywhere else online. Seriously, bookstores overprice the ups out of your books and you will save a lot of money getting them from Amazon, Chegg, eBay, etc. instead. And ask senior students about which books are useless to buy. Saved me so much money because I didn't buy books that the prof would never use. Or just ask if you can borrow this. You'd be surprised how many will say yes. Source: have loaned books to people I barely know. I graduated with an education degree and so had to take lots of praxis exams, which means lots of studying specific books and information that never change. A lot of upperclassmen would pass down these books with notes and stuff in the margins for free. The only stipulation was when you were done with it, you pass it on to someone else who needs it. I swear the margin notes were 100x more helpful than the book info, more often than not. And a lot of people would add their own helpful notes. It seriously got me through those tests. Didn't have to take a single one more than once. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. A lot of times your university will have stupid cheap software licenses for students/faculty. At my university we got Adobe Creative Cloud licenses for 10/year and free Microsoft Office licenses. This was before Office 365, so it wasn't a subscription. Sometimes the cheap software is only for certain departments/majors, but at mine they had several deeply discounted software packages any student could buy. Bruh, I found out that I could get all of Adobe Creative Cloud apps for $20 per month. Before, I was just using the photography plan for $10/month. Turns out, I don't really need the other. It's cool to have the option to make videos with Premiere if I want. I have dabbled, might again when I get more time to nonsense activities. If you are a starving student and there's a Sikh temple in your area, they do something called a lanja. It's basically food they serve to the community and it's legitimately good. They usually will ask you to volunteer or do some kitchen work in exchange. Me and a group of 4 college students would attend regularly, and the food was great. I was broke and had to pay my way through college with zero support. I had a friend that told me about the lanja, but I was worried they would push the religion on me. Didn't happen at all. I was nervous just showing up, but they were some of the kindest people I've ever met with zero judgment. I'm not religious, but Sikh people restored my faith in humanity. Edit. Volunteer or kitchen work is not required to participate in the lanja. But we were college kids wanting to help any way we could. I'm Sikh. Thank you for what you've said about our religion. We don't try to recruit people to our religion, and I appreciate that you've added that in, because a big temple can seem intimidating, and people wonder about those places. I know the temple can look scary from the outside, and you might worry or be nervous going for the first time. But honestly, just find someone inside and tell them it's your first time there. Usually we can tell if you're a first timer and you'll receive guidance without asking. Also, just wanted to correct you on one thing. It's not necessary to do anything in exchange for food. You can just go there and eat. Service is done if you want to do it, which is welcomed and appreciated. But I just don't want anyone put off visiting a temple due to thinking they might have to do something in return. The Sikh religion asks that we are all considerate of each other, humans and animals. So if you do that, then that's good enough. You'll hear prayers all around on speakers, even in the dining hall. Thank you so much. The Sikh people have always been so kind and supportive. After college, I worked with them doing communications for several businesses ran by Sikh owners. They were the most kind and caring clients I've ever had. I'll be sure to update my post to clarify the volunteering. Again, thank you.